Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Tudor Electric Football Box Reveal. A lot of people have been asking me, are you still buying boxes? Are you still making the videos? I've still been buying the boxes, I just haven't been making the videos for a while. I've been really tardy on that, and I've got some boxes that are starting to get kind of years old. So I think this year you're gonna see a lot of videos from me because I really wanna get caught up on all these boxes. One of the cool things about it is that I've had the boxes for so long, I forget myself what was in the boxes. All right, we're going to talk about a couple of different things today. First of all, we're going to talk about, if it's of any interest, how I organize these deals. What do I do? Why do I do it? Every time I buy one of these boxes, like the one we're going to see today, it's actually a big bag full of players. I'll just set them up here so we're looking at something. Every time I buy one of these, as soon as I get it, I get a plain white piece of paper. I write the date of the deal at the top. I write how much I bought it for, and then I go through the teams and I make a list of everything that I got. Along with that, each team, if they don't end up being spares, end up getting a little white piece of paper like this, and I write the date of the deal on it, and I write something else. I give each one of the deals a nickname. So for example, I once bought a box from a guy who was an instructor at West Point. I nicknamed that deal West Point. So all the little pieces of paper, and at the top of my what I call deal sheet, it says West Point. That allows me later, if I were to sell one of those teams, to then subtract it from the cost and see if I ever do come out ahead on this thing. So that's how I do it. Why I do it is not only to subtract the cost, but also because it is really cool to see sometimes how these boxes come together, where you get a team that has 5 guys in one box and you get another box that has the other 6. And it was so cool experiencing that. It was one of the things that made me decide to start doing the videos and just showing YouTube my process. All right, now also going to talk about movies today. It's another thing I'm super into. I watch, sounds weird, but I actually keep a list on the notes on my phone. I probably watch on average about 150 new movies I've never seen before every year. And if there's anything football related, I watch them for sure. So this past weekend, I actually did watch a goofy movie about football, and I'm going to tell you about that movie, and we're going to talk about other football related movies as we go through the box. But up front, we're going to talk about this deal. Now this deal was one of the lengthiest it ever took me to put one of these together. This deal, I first contacted this lady. She was in Texas, I'm in Ohio. I contacted her like in the month of October. She didn't respond to my inquiries, nothing. Then she finally did. Then she disappeared forever again. She was very paranoid throughout the transaction, very suspicious of me for some reason. I'm like, I'll send you immediate payment. I don't know. I just had a really tough time on this transaction. Total pain in the ass, frankly. And when I finally got through with that transaction, got it all done, she didn't send it forever. I didn't get it for probably 2 months. I was messaging her, first friendly, just, hey, want to see everything's okay. Finally culminating after 5 messages and getting a little more threatening because she was not sending me the messages, the teams. And then in the middle of it, boom, it showed up at my doorstep. So I was not happy. I've met some fantastic people doing this. But there is the other 1%, and she falls into that category. She was extremely difficult. And so I've actually nicknamed this deal the ordeal, because it was an ordeal. It went on forever. All right, here's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see 14 black shoe teams today. Or I should say figures representing 14 black shoe teams. And when you hear me use that language, it means that there's a lot of teams that are not complete. I think there are some that are complete, but there's a bunch of stuff in here that was just X number of figures. There was one particular thing in here that you're gonna see that I really wanted. That was the reason I bought this thing to begin with and got sucked into this long process, because honestly, I was ready to walk away from it a bunch of times during. All right, we're gonna start going through these teams, and as we do, this is gonna be a build out kind of situation. So when we get that, that's when we're gonna see this. I'm gonna lift the camera up, just sitting over here on the chair beside me. You will see a plastic tub down there, and in that plastic tub is a shoebox, and in that shoebox, these are a list of all the teams that are under construction in that box. It's about 39 of them right now. So using some of those teams, we will hopefully today be able to put together some of these teams. Also in that plastic tub, you see a bunch of plastic bags in here. There's 6 of them. They actually represent each of the divisions in the NFL. So this one we're looking at right here, these are all AFC East figures. This is a giant list of everybody who's in those bags. So a bunch of guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the teams. When we get to an incomplete team, we're gonna look at the teams in that box first to see if we can finish something off. If we can't do that, then we're gonna go to the spares collection and see if we can finish something off. If we can't do that, they could end up in this box. And if they don't end up in this box, they're gonna end up in these bags because they will become spares. To be a team under construction, my criteria has always been there's gotta be 9 good players. Or it's gotta be a team that is a team somewhat rare-ish. I'm just gonna reach in here because I knew these guys were on the side. Here we have some Redskins. I think these actually came from a previous box reveal episode. These guys have 2 missing guys. I think there's a guy with a broken arm, but these are the ones that only have the 1 yellow stripe on the helmet. They're a variation. So since they ended up in the spares box. So that's really the only exception to the 9-player rule. No point in adding those 1 yellow stripe guys who aren't even a whole team to the general population of all the other Redskin spares that I'm gonna have in there. All right, so let's jump into our first team of the box. They jumped out right out at me. You know what? We'll grab another team instead. We'll get right into trying to build a team here if we can. I see this team, and this actually fits a couple of criteria of the box. This guy's got a broken base with a piece of tape. Quarterback's got a broken arm. This guy is absolutely nuked. All right, this team is in really bad shape. So far, we've only got 2 good figures, 3. Another good guard, another quarterback with broken arms, and we've got a decent running back. So we've got 5 black shoe, good skin tone white Steelers. Great team if we can put them together. It's a tall order. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get into my list of teams under construction and see if by any miracle I've got some Steelers under construction. Because if I do, and they're only a couple figures away, we could be in really good shape here. They're kind of a tough team. They're on the rarer side. I don't remember having any Steelers. And I don't. So the fallback position is going to be, we're gonna go to this giant list. And we're gonna go through here and we're gonna see if we have any Steelers in here. These are all NFC teams. And if we can put this together. All right, I do have some white Steelers, so says the list. 2 wide receivers, an African-American running back, good. And 2 guards. So if I were to complete this, like, let's say they're even the right skin tones, because I don't even know that, that would only give us 7 guys. Now, for the heck of it, I'm going to find that bag just to see. And I'm not even seeing my, oh, it's right here in front of me. All right, so are the Steelers I have in here even? No, they are not. They're the pasty skin tone version, so they wouldn't work anyway. So there's team number 1 down the chute. Good skin tone, black shoe, white Steelers. 5 good guys. They're going to end up in the spares box. All right. I want to say one more thing about these Steelers. And I'm going to zoom in and give you an up-close look at this guy while I say that one more thing. A football-related movie that has anything to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can anybody think of one? Because I have one in mind that I can think of, and that is, and it can't be a documentary or an NFL Films thing or something like that, like an actual Hollywood kind of movie. One film comes to mind. There was a movie called Fighting Back. It's the Rocky Bleier story, about how he goes to Vietnam and comes back and comes to the NFL. Football related movie about the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, team number 2. These are black shoe, dark uniform New York Jets. All right, so we've got a quarterback, we've got a good running back, there's a guard. All right, both the quarterbacks, that's always very, very important. There's a wide receiver. All right, we do have both tackles, 2 guards, 3 guards. We'll move him down here. And all right, we're missing an African-American wide receiver and a white running back. All right, so once again, following my procedure, we are going to go to the teams under construction, and we're going to see if I have any black Jets, or dark Jets, excuse me. All right, my list says that we do. And my list also says they're missing a white running back. So they are actually missing, they have 1 broken guy and 1 missing guy, and the 1 missing guy is also missing from these. So we're going to dig into it. Find those Jets. Here they are. Little white piece of paper with them. They're from a box reveal episode. See, back in 21, these came out of a box I actually did on the show. All right, there they are. There's the wide receiver we need. We don't have the running back. All right, so I've got a couple options ahead of me here, because these guys are how many? They're a 10-man team, and these guys are a 10-man team. Unfortunately, oh, they are a 10-man team. Well, I've completely screwed this up. The white running back was the only missing figure, and now he's the only missing figure from both teams, which is really a bummer. All right, completely screwed that up, but I think you still get the point. So now, under teams under construction, I'm actually going to have 2 sets of dark Jets, both missing the same figure. The bad news there was that we were not able to put anything together, which is amazing that could happen, but it has happened before. All right. A movie with the New York Jets. Anything come to mind? I have one that jumps into my mind, and It's not exactly a football movie, but Flash Gordon, because he was supposed to be the quarterback of the New York Jets. All right. Next team up, we've got, I feel a piece of tape on a guy. Oh gosh. All right, we've got some dark Rams. I know I've got dark Rams under construction because I have perpetually had dark Rams under construction for like the last 10 years. All right, we've got both quarterbacks, and if you got both quarterbacks, you've really got something. All right, 2 tackles. All right, so we are missing. All right, there's both tackles are there. So the 2 broken guys, African-American wide receiver and a white guard. All right, this should be an easy patch job. Either from spares, we could look at spares and see if we have those 2 guys first. Because I know I've got this set in teams under construction, and the teams under construction, wide receiver. All right, and we actually could finish this team from spares. Maybe we'll just do that. All right, so I'm gonna reach into my bag here and we're gonna find that division. Here they are. Everything in that bag is from the NFC West division. Like, no way I'm gonna get lucky enough to just look down in here and see these, but it would be cool if we did. Well, let's dump them out. NFC West Black Shoe Spares. Big gross hair in there. Yeah. We'll just start grabbing Rams out of here when we see them. There's one that we need. And, oh, I picked up the other guy. And there's the other one that we need. So there we go. Able to finish that team off. Set of black shoe, the later yellow uniform LA Rams. Completed from spares. The other sets that I had in construction, I know that they are all missing quarterbacks. It's always quarterbacks that are missing. Oh, all the yucky hair that got on this lazy Susan from doing that. All right. So that team has come together. We've been able to fix something today. That's good. All right. Ram football movie. Heaven Can Wait. And I cannot remember the name of it, but the one that had, it's about Kurt Warner's life a couple of years ago. All right, now we've got some white bears. These are the more desirable white bears because they're the ones with the good skin tones. You see them a lot with the pasty skin tones. These are the ones you really want. We got both quarterbacks, which is absolutely huge. Smushed over tackle. Oh, there's... All right, so essentially we need a tackle and a guard. They're both white guys. They've both been taped and they've been run over. All right, so I am going to go to my spares list. I don't know if I decided to differentiate between the skin tones. Oh, I did. All right, so I have in spares, blah, 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 blah. I have a guard, a wide receiver, and a running back. I don't have the tackle. So I could get into the spares and improve this team, which would turn them into an under construction team. They are now because they have 9 good guys. They could be a better under construction team with 10 good guys. But before I do that, we're gonna look real quick and just see if by any chance I've got a set of them already under construction. I don't remember that I do. And I do not. All right. So we need to find the NFC Central bag, dig in there and find that one guy. And there he is right on top, which is a great break. So there he is. Now we've got all 3 guards and only this guy, who actually would be a really easy repair, is missing. So that's a very salvageable set. And I think we're gonna call that one a win too. I don't like to re-glue figures. I don't like imperfections. I like the teams to be totally perfect. No question whatsoever, no re-glues. Because I'm fooling around with too many teams to be able to remember what guy has a re-glue or something. All right. A movie with the Bears. Obviously, Brian's song comes immediately to mind. All right, next team. Man, we got broken guys and tape like in every single thing. Here's a quarterback with broken arms. These are obviously dark Colts. They are the good skin tone version. We've got all 3 guards, 1 quarterback. All right, there's what we've got. Once again, that running back, just looking at him, could be a really easy fix to the problem. But a better fix would be to find a guy who's never been broken to begin with. So I am going to search. Let's take a look at teams under construction, see if we have any Colts. By the way, just glimpsing this sheet, speaking of the Rams from earlier, there's 2 sets of Rams under construction, and they both have all kinds of broken quarterback issues. All right, I do not have any dark Colts, so I am going to quickly shift through the sheet and see if I have any Colts in my spares, and if we can possibly put some Colts together. All right. Those Jets. Well, of course, the very last page I look for. All right, well, we need a quarterback, which is a tall order. We need a white wide receiver. We need a white running back. All right, my sheet says I've got 2 wide receivers, I've got 2 running backs, so we can fix that. And I do not have a quarterback. So at very best, this team will become a team under construction. Once again, I'm going to go into my plastic tub full of spares. And we're going to start pulling out Colts. And we'll see if we can find the guys. These guys actually should kind of jump out in the crowd pretty good. Okay, there's a quarterback in here. I'm gonna have to double check my sheet because my sheet did not say there was a quarterback, and there he is. So now I'm starting to get worried. Well, then are the guys I thought were going to be in here? Okay, there's the wide receiver I needed. And do we have the running back? Yes, we do. All right, well, in spite of my poor bookkeeping, there we go. That's going to be a completed set of Black Shoe Colts. Beautiful. Love to see that. Really tough movie on this one, by the way. Tough movie on this one. Movie worth seeing. It's called Diner. Steve Guttenberg's in it. It's from the early 80s. I think it's set like in the late 50s or maybe the early 60s. And part of the comedy of the movie is the one guy wants to get married to a girl, but he's a huge Baltimore Colts fan and he will not marry her unless she passes a test about the Colts. All right, we've had some successes so far. I'm getting encouraged. I didn't think we were going to do real well, but we're doing better than I thought we were going to do. Next up, we have got a set of black shoe, white Green Bay Packers. And the Packers are actually the team that set off this whole movie thing in my mind, because I watched an absolutely goofy, horrible movie the other night. It was called The Cowboy Quarterback. It was from 1939. I wouldn't even call this thing like a B movie. It was like a D movie. It was terrible. About a guy from Montana who goes to play for the Packers. Now, my TV's description said that he goes to play for the Green Bay Packers, but when I watched the movie, he goes to play for the Chicago Packers. So the Cowboy Quarterback is going to play for the Chicago Packers. I don't know who should be more offended, Packers fans or Bears fans at that name, combining those two together. All right. Not a whole lot to work with here because we are just looking at 6 good figures. So the first thing I'm going to do, and they're the pasty version, making it more difficult. There's pasty versions and there's good versions. So I'm looking at my teams under construction. I've actually got a team under construction, but they have the good skin tones, not the pasty skin tones. So that won't work. All right. By any miracle, are there any other Packers under construction? No, of course not. So we are down to the spares. And I'm going to go to the page that has the Packers on them. Packers white, and I did not say whether they had good skin tones or bad skin tones. This is actually one instance when we're really hoping for the bad skin tones, because we really don't have much here. All right, I mean, one guard. We're definitely going to be able to improve this team. I'm dumping out actually behind you all these NFC Central players. All right, I'm just going to start grabbing white Packers when I see them, and there's one we could use. There's one we cannot use. Wow, look at that guy. I think he might have even been like in an episode of Box Reveal or something. Thank God we don't need him. I'm not sure why I kept him in the bag, because he's really not usable. All right, there's a guy we can use. There's a guy we can use. There's another guy we can use, and we're starting to get into most of a team territory at this point. We've got all the guards. We've got both running backs. We've got both quarterbacks. What we're looking for now is just that one white wide receiver. I'm going to look at my list again because there were a lot of them on the list, and I don't know if we had him on the list. Oh, my list says there's 2 of them in this pile somewhere. There's one right there. So there we go. And that is another why you keep spares success story. Because we just made a team. And not a super duper easy team to get. All right. You know what I ought to do? I'm going to look in here and just see, is there anything else NFC Central? Because as long as I've got those spares spilled out all over the place, Let's just be sure that, okay, there is an NFC Central team in here. Next team up, pasty skin tone, dark Minnesota Vikings. By the way, if anybody knows a movie with this team, please let me know, because I cannot think of any. Nothing comes to mind. All right, well, this team is really hurting for guys. This guy's got a broken arm. This guy's broken off the base. And this is what we've got. We've got 7 guys. And I'm going to check that list and check this pile while I've got it out, if it's worth doing. And we'll see if there's any Vikings in here. Gotta be Vikings. I mean, they just pop up. Okay. Pasty skin tones. Quarterback, a guard, 2 tackles, don't need them. Wide receiver, got him too. A tackle, don't need him, and a guard. All right, so there's a couple guards and a quarterback in here. Before I go grabbing those guys out of there, I'm just gonna very quickly take a look at my list of teams under construction. Let's see if we have anything in there that's maybe a guy or 2 away. Got some white Vikings. All right, I do not see any dark Vikings under construction. If I do this right, we're gonna find some under construction right in front of us. Okay, so we're looking for guards. All right, right off, there's the quarterback that's missing. All right, we don't need him. All right, there is the wide receiver. And at this point, we need 2 guards. There's one. Wow, look how white that guy is. He really doesn't even match the set very well because he's so clean. Wow, look at this Viking wide receiver. Man, there's some messed up guys who found their way into this thing. All right, and there's another guard. You know, he must have been from the same set once upon a time as that guy. And there we go. We have put the Vikings together. Great to see some of these sets starting to form. Huge victory for me when I can tell you that I've managed to put a complete team together. That's why I go to all this trouble. All right, we've got a few more teams left in here. We're going to do this team next. These are black shoe, pasty skin tone, white Dallas Cowboys. I cannot think of a, like, North Dallas 40, do you get to count that? Of a Cowboys football movie. I think there were like some tacky little Dallas Cowboy cheerleader movies that might have been on in the 70s or something like that. And there they are, they're complete. Not the world's most interesting team, but I think, to the best of my recollection, that's the first complete team that we have taken out of the box. So that shows you just how shabby this box is. All right, next up, we've got, oh, well, okay. Guess I forgot this was gonna happen. We have black shoe, Dallas Cowboys, pasty skin tones, white uniforms. So there were 2 sets of this team. All right, there's 4 guards in there. All right, we have 4 guards and we have 1 quarterback, and this guy does not match at all. This guy is actually a hog leg. And I don't know how well you can see him, but he's kind of that weird, like you see them with gray pants and you see them more commonly with silver. This guy has kind of that blue silver paint job, which is the rarest of the white cowboy hog legs. Why he is mixed in the middle of this, I don't know, but there he is. That leaves us looking for a cowboy quarterback with pasty skin tones. I'm gonna look first at the, all right, in my spares collection says there's 2 of them in there. All right. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last box. I'm going to dump out all these NFC East spares, and we'll just go through NFC East after this, because I know there's, all right, there's a guy with, right there, there's a guy with yucky skin tones, and he'll be well at home in that set. Not the greatest set in the world, but now I have 2 of them. All right. Next team up, and we're going to stick with the NFC East just because we already have the spares out. And that means that inevitably we're going to see Redskins. And these are probably the most common version of Redskins ever made. Also, inevitably, we've got a guy who has a taped. All right, here we have, the really good news here is that both quarterbacks are there. If you've got both quarterbacks, you're in the game. There's both running backs, both. All right, so all we need to fix this team is just 1 guard. African-American guard. I'm not even going to look at the list. I'm just going to fish through these guys because I have a ton of these Redskins pairs. There's the first guy that jumps out. And he just made the roster. He's back in the NFL. Team featuring the Redskins, not a clue. I am thinking of absolutely nothing that comes to mind. All right, we have 4 teams left. None of them are from the AFC, or excuse me, the NFC East. So I'm just going to shovel these guys back in here. Job well done by the NFC East spares bag. All right, next we have, and we already did Rams movies, another set of Rams, because I could have done the teams together too, but I just didn't remember what all was in here. These are actually the somewhat tough ones to get. These are the pasty skin tone white LA Rams. Man, these are painted really nice too. Too bad they're the bad skin tone, but they're the harder ones to get because they initially came out with the good skin tone. You see a lot of those, and then they converted to the pasty skin tone, and then they had the uniform change like we saw earlier in the video. And these pasty skin tone blue Rams are probably the least populous of all the different Rams that you'll run into out there. Really cool find actually, and these are really amazingly well painted. I mean, I cannot get over how nice these are painted. Look at that. They really did a nice job on these. Great team. All right, next up, having trouble getting the Rams bag open. Okay, there we go. We have the team that is the reason why I bought this box. I bought it because I saw these guys. Now they're pasty skin tone, These are white saints. Couple varieties in these white saints, by the way. You see them with the one black sock like these guys have, and you see them with the 3 black socks. So the better version in my mind are the 3 black socks with the better skin tones, and the lesser version, unfortunately, are what we're looking at right now, which are the pasty skin tones with the 1 black sock. Nevertheless, these are hard to find. So there they are, and they are missing 1 guy. Now, I am going to quickly waste my time by looking at my list of spares, and I guarantee you that I do not have any spares of this team, but I'm going to look just to satisfy my curiosity. We're missing 1 running back. Got some dark saints, and I do not have any white saints. But I know I have a set of white saints under construction because I have had them forever. Apparently I've had them forever for so long I can't even find them in the box. Hang on, they're in here somewhere. They are in here, and there they are. And they are tough. And if I goof this up and they're the ones with the stripes on the socks or something, I'm going to be not happy. Okay, they are the right ones. See, now I told you I put little pieces of paper in the boxes, or in the bags. Here's my little piece of paper. So I've had this team since 11/13/18. And what did we need? We need a quarterback. He doesn't have the base. There he is. He's missing part of his leg too, so he's completely useless. So we could really use this guy. So that 1 guy is going to complete this team, and that is very cool. Or we could invert it the other way around, frankly. We could take the 1 quarterback from this team and put it with this team. So one way or another, between these 2 teams, I'm walking out of this deal with a nice set of black shoe, pasty, white saints, finally completed after all this time. I'll tell you what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to put them all back in the same bag, and I'm going to pick out the best 11 guys. We are ultimately going to end up with 9 extra guys. So there will still be a spares team at the end of the day. We could do this again in another like 8 years. All right, couple teams left. Next up, this is another team, like, we better be able to complete this team. I run into these all the time. What a shame. There's the quarterback. He's broken off the base. He actually has both arms. There's that guy's got a missing arm. Oh boy. All right, got a couple running backs. Guard. Wide receiver and a tackle. We're missing guys all over the place. So many missing guys. I think we're going to go first just to see. I've mentioned this time and again, but 3 different versions of these dark dolphins you're going to find in black shoe. The earliest have the orange logo on the helmet, and if you find those, check underneath of the 2 wide receivers, because if they are stamped Hong Kong, it means that those 2 figures, or 1 figure potentially, is a hog leg. Getting a set of those with the orange helmet logo and 2 that are marked Hong Kong is as close to having a hog leg set of dark dolphins as you're going to get. Version number 2 are what we're seeing right now. They're black shoe all the way. They have the blue logo on the helmet, and there's yet another version with no stripes on the sleeves. They just have aqua jerseys, and that's it. So I am going to look at my list and see if we have any Dolphins under construction. They were a really popular team. I see I have a set with the orange helmets under construction. So you find them a lot, and they came in a Super Bowl game. So this is a team that pops up. All right. Dark Dolphins with stripes. It says I have a quarterback. All right, we have both running backs. We have that. So to put this whole team together, we basically need a tackle and a wide receiver. Does my list say we have them with stripes? 3 guards, 2 running backs, don't need them, running backs, running back, both wide receivers, so we've got that. More wide receivers, tackle. Okay, so we're gonna finish this set. Let me reach in here. This is why I should have done these in better order, because we were in this bag already today. I got the Colts out of here, which highlighted a little flaw in my system, by the way, because I found guys in the bag that I didn't think I had. All right, where are they? Where are they? Wide receiver and a tackle. All right, there is a wide receiver guy. He's a little slumped over. This has been a bad day for wide receiver guys. All right, there's a better one. And we need a tackle. This says he's here. There he is. And there's our tackle. So we just managed to do that. There's a nice set of black shoe, stripe on the sleeve, blue helmet logo, dark Dolphins. You know, I'm not sure of our percentage of saves today, but we're doing really well. We have managed to put together quite a few teams here today. All right. Means we're down to our final team. Before I show you the final team, I'm going to dump all this stuff out. This is everything else that was in the bag. All the original bags for the team, the stickers for the uniforms. These are all the dials for the scoreboard. We got a bunch of bases, field goal posts. There's a ton of stuff here. All right, I'm just gonna dump all of that stuff off here, and we're gonna get to our very last team. And that very last team is a set of pasty skin tone, dark Cleveland Browns. By the way, Dolphins. Anybody know a dolphin movie? I had to think really hard to come up with this one. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. There's our last team, the Browns. There's just 6 guys in the bag. We don't even have the taped together guys. I don't think I've got a ton of spares of Cleveland Browns. So I'm going to take a look at the list. Wow, and absolutely nothing. So now I'm going to look at teams under construction just to see if by chance I've got any dark browns being built. These guys are going to end up spares if nothing good happens here. And I don't remember having anything dark browns. And I do not. So our final team, the Browns, are going to end up spares. Still, in the overall scheme of things, we put together a bunch of teams today. This was good work today. All right. Appreciate your watching. I'm going to be making more videos in the future. Please give me those thumbs ups and shares and subscriptions and all that crap. It helps you get the videos faster, and it makes me feel better about doing them, to know people appreciate them enough to do that. So because I'm certainly not ever going to get rich out of making these videos. It just gives me a little extra satisfaction that the people seeing them like them, that sort of thing. So once again, I thank you very much for watching. I look forward to doing another episode very soon. I've got some very cool ideas on the horizon. Thank you very much, and good night.